Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin, and today we're gonna be talking about why more and more FTM people have the body goal to look like a twink. But before we get into that, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching, a custom meal plan, or a custom training plan, feel free to check out my website. It's gonna be linked down below, or you can also email me, which is gonna be right here, okay? Before we kind of look at the history and kind of break down the rationale behind why more and more trans masculine people want to look like a femme-presenting man, essentially, I think it's very important to assess why we have the specific body goals that we do. Is it coming from a place of I love my body and therefore I want to present this way? Is it coming from a place of I hate my body, I can't fucking stand looking like this anymore, I have to look like anything else but myself? Assessing the reason why is gonna help along that journey, right? For myself, when I initially began training, I fucking hated how I looked. I would have chopped off my left pinky toe to look differently than I did. My motivation fizzled out when it came from that place, right? But then when I was able to dig a little deeper and think, you know what, bro? I'm not doing this because I fucking hate myself. I'm doing this because I love myself. I know I can do better. I know I can push harder. I know I can wake up, look in the mirror, and not want to unalive myself, essentially. No matter what someone's physique goal may look like in physicality, you know, as long as that drive and that reason why is pure, there's no reason to be like, oh, well, you're transitioning from female to male. Why would you want to look like a femme man? Why, right? Why would someone who's transitioning from female to male want to look like a twink? Well, first of all, a twink is a man. It's still a transition related goal, in my opinion. People may not even, be cognizant of this, but it's something that I'm painfully aware of. Having the physique goal to look like a big, bulky guy, like someone's homophobic father who was, captain of the football team in high school and married the high school cheerleader, is not a body goal for a lot of people. The connotation that comes with being a big, bulky, cis-looking man, honestly, for a lot of trans people, it's just something negative. I understand the patriarchy sucks ass. Even for myself, I literally feel funny. I have a whole video titled I Feel Invisibly Queer because I'm getting bigger and bigger. I'm not done yet. The more I feel like if I went to a party, I would have to be like, by the way, I'm trans. I'm not a predator. And it sucks that people may have that connotation. People may judge a book by its cover and be like, why the fuck is this bodybuilder bro taking up space in this queer environment, right? So I think that's a big reason why a lot of people have the body goal of someone who looks visibly queer, right? When we're thinking of someone like, I don't know, Troye Sivan, king of the twinks in my eyes, right? When we're thinking about that body type, it's still visibly queer, right? It's attractive, it's desirable, but it's not too much. It's not in your face and it's not perceived as aggressive, right? It's like, that person looks fit. They look like they probably work out a little bit, nothing too crazy. So it kind of seems like a low maintenance goal to have. Realistically speaking, that may not be the case for like most people. A lot of twinks still have good genetics, right? You have to think of where you are with your physique. A lot of twinks had abs since they were like fucking 14 years old, okay? It's just part of like the cis guy genetic lottery. A lot of cis females have this genetic lottery too, and there's a lot of twinks who are trans guys who haven't even fucking really worked out like that and they look like twinks. Assessing your genetics and what is realistic for you is very important. Even if your goal is low maintenance, you don't look like The Rock, you don't want to look like C-Bum, you don't want to look like this, extremely jacked person, you still have to put in work to look like a twink depending on what your current state is. It's important to understand that it may seem like a low maintenance goal, but depending on your start point, you might have to put in just as much work as somebody who wants to be jacked as hell. The whole concept of this is a new thing, like, trans masculine people and trans men didn't used to want to look like twinks. They used to want to be as cis-passing as possible. I think it just kind of speaks to how things have evolved and grown over the last couple of years. People feel more comfortable being queer, or at least hopefully will continue to feel that way. People feel more comfortable being visibly queer, being visibly gender queer on a spectrum, looking more non-binary, looking more NB. I think that a lot of the beginning stages of what it looked like to transition from female to explicitly male placed a lot of gender stereotypes on us, right? It was more so like, you know what, you better assimilate to cis het culture if you want to do the damn thing. Whereas now we have people who are explicitly non-binary. You know, we have creators who are like, you know what, yeah, I was assigned male at birth, you might still be able to clock me, but I don't care because gender's not real anyway, so it doesn't matter. And because of the kind of content and comfortability that people are displaying with their gender expression, more trans masculine people feel comfortable being like, you know what, bro, no, I don't want to look like The Rock. You know what, I do want to present queer. I am a gay trans man. And that space that we may not have felt comfortable taking up before, whereas now there's been more empowerment to be like, I can take up space no matter what that space looks like, no matter how I show up to the party, I deserve to be here. The question of why are all these trans masculine people trying to look like twinks now, it's almost similar to the question of when cis het people are like, why is everybody gay now? Why is everybody trans now? Is it that everybody's trans now, or is it that people have been trans but they just didn't feel comfortable enough to share their true identity? A lot of it is, you know what, I don't expect this from you, so therefore I think that there must be some weird thing going on here. Like a bunch of trans people got together and they were like, I think I want to look like a twink now. I think I want to make sure that all trans people are gay now. Like, I've heard of this in like very binary, you know, trans man groups before, even just talking to random binary trans guys. Like, gender is genuinely just an expression. We can show up however we wish to show up. That's just like for myself. I wish that I looked a little bit more like I'm part of the community. I wish that I looked a little bit more, I guess, approachable and less like a fucking, you know, representation of, unfortunately, the patriarchy. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to shelve my bodybuilding goals. I'm not going to shelve who I am as a person and what makes me feel happy to fucking wake up in the morning, which is bodybuilding, just to make myself look softer because we have a bad connotation with masculinity, right? I feel like it's very important and something that I hope I can bring across. Listen, I can be big as fuck, and me being big as fuck doesn't mean that I'm any less of a trans man. It doesn't mean that I'm any less feminine. It just means that this is what I want my body to look like. I don't want to be perceived as a good old bodybuilder cis guy. I'm Devin and I like to train. Being perceived as more feminine feels safer for someone who's queer. It seems like my people are going to see me, they're going to gravitate towards me, and I'm going to be safe in community. It's also going to make certain people feel uncomfortable, right? If I show up wearing this crop top, I don't know, can y'all tell I'm wearing a crop top? If I show up wearing this outfit to the gym, I'm probably going to get looked at like, why is bro wearing a crop top? As opposed to if I show up to the gym wearing what I typically wear, like a black hoodie and black sweatpants, it's going to be like, oh, he fits in. So a lot of our expression, a lot of how we present ourselves also comes down to how we want other people to perceive us. Of course, there's a lot of that, like I mentioned before, intrinsic motivation of, I want my body to look like this. I want to feel good in my clothing. I want to feel good in my physique. I want to feel good when I'm, you know, standing there naked, literally. But a lot of it is also, I want to be perceived in this certain way by other people. I want my kinfolk to see me and know it's good. And I also want people who might not fuck with me if I look femme to know, don't fuck with me then, right? There's certainly a lot of whys that could go into this, but I think at the end of the day, people feel more comfortable with presenting how they want to present. It's not a grand conspiracy, right? I think that trans masculine people may fall into this trap a little bit more, being like, oh, you're not being manly enough. And then also there's the opposite side of it, which is you're too fucking masculine. Hey, yeah, I was literally a female for 20 years of my life. Depending on who you ask, I'm still a female. At least I get told that every single day, like 8 times a day in my comments, okay? So please do not exclude me from this conversation because I'm cis passing. That's where a lot of this kind of hostility can come from. I feel like some folks are agitated that we do have cis passing privilege, and then other folks feel like, why the fuck aren't you fighting for your cis passing privilege? And I literally just wish we could be like, hey, I fuck with you, I fuck with you, we're good, present however you want to present, go for it, we're all good, homie. Because that's how I feel. I have homies who are straight up fucking bodybuilder bros that live in fucking Georgia, and all they care about is getting as big as fucking possible. And then I have other homies who are fucking queer as shit, non-binary, they live in LA, they're all about that community lifestyle, right? I feel like they would genuinely get along if they were just able to have a conversation. But you know what? I think a lot of it is armor. A lot of people have been hurt by various individuals. So I get it. It's multifaceted in my opinion. A lot of it for some people could just be, I want to be skinny with abs. And for other people, it could be this more loaded concept of, I don't want to look like a fucking patriarchal monster. I do want to work out, but I also am afraid that I'm not going to be seen as queer. It can vary. It can be on either end of the spectrum, right? And to be honest, I've worked with people who want to get jacked as fuck. I've worked with more and more more people who do want to look like twinks. As long as those intentions are coming purely from the heart, it doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna get gratification out of the process. And the more that you see results, the more that you see the physique that you want to attain, the happier you're gonna feel. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to reach gender euphoria. That's how I feel anyways. That's why I do what I do, whether that comes to my personal bodybuilding journey, whether that comes to helping other people feel euphoria in their body. We all just want to wake up and feel good to be alive. So we should let each other breathe a little bit more in the trans community. We got enough going on outside forces. People who are not like us trying to tear us down cannot tear each other down. If you are interested in following me on Instagram, I post my physique updates, more stuff. I post my physique updates, my thoughts on other stuff, other bodybuilding tips, nutrition tips. You can definitely check it out. It's at DVNSPRS, but it's gonna be linked down below. And like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin's a Don, and Devin is out of here, boy.